Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's wedding was only the beginning. Now all eyes are on their honeymoon, with reports claiming they're planning an over-the-top getaway filled with luxury, exotic destinations, and a few unexpected surprises. Let me break it down. Before anyone could even whisper the word honeymoon, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had to get through the wedding itself, and that wedding alone set a bar most couples couldn't touch with a decade of planning. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were married at Madison Square Garden on Friday, hosting a massive celebration that shut down streets around the famous New York City arena and hosted around 1,000 guests. Streets in Midtown Manhattan closed off completely. Multiple streets near MSG were closed to vehicle traffic, while portions of W33rd Street and 7th Avenue closest to the arena were closed to pedestrians, some of whom waited nearby for a glimpse of the newlyweds or their guests. The reveal itself felt like something out of one of her own music videos. Billboards outside of Madison Square Garden lit up in purple with the message "Just Married," announcing the news to those on the streets of Midtown Manhattan and the entire globe. And a few blocks over, the Empire State Building was lit up in blue in their honor, a nod to the age-old wedding rhyme. Then, a rainstorm began. It was almost too cinematic to be real, and the guest list backed that feeling up. The 1,000-person guest list was impressive, expansive, and occasionally befuddling. There was the Hollywood contingent, including Steven Spielberg, Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper, Dakota Johnson, Eric Stonestreet, and Hugh Grant. Kansas City native and Chiefs fan Jason Sudeikis was also there, as well as self-professed Swiftie Nikki Glazer, while Jennifer Lopez, Graham Norton, Jimmy Fallon, and Zoe Kravitz were also spotted among the arrivals. Sports royalty showed up too. 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady and Andy Reid, Kelce's head coach with the Kansas City Chiefs, were both seen leaving the venue in the early hours. The ceremony had a surprise at its center. The couple's friend Adam Sandler, who gave Kelce a cameo in Happy Gilmore 2 last year, served as their officiant. George Stephanopoulos, who was there with his co-anchors, called the ceremony moving and touching, describing the vows as real, vulnerable, and deeply loving all at once. And instead of a traditional wedding party, Taylor and Travis did not have bridesmaids or groomsmen. Instead, her brother Austin Swift served as Taylor's man of honor, and Jason Kelce was Travis's best man. The vows themselves lasted a while, according to People. The couple's vows took 20 minutes each and were read from gold books. Swift's vows even included a bit of singing, according to sources who spoke with NBC News. Kelce's mother summed up the whole night in one word to reporters afterward: magical. Then came the performances. Paul McCartney and Stevie Nicks performed. A source told People that after the ceremony, Swift's mother invited everyone into the reception room where the stage was set up, and the Beatles legend reportedly performed "I Want to Hold Your Hand," a song McCartney hasn't publicly sung in decades. None of this came cheap. At least $20 million. That is how much the wedding cost Swift and Kelce, Forbes estimates. And that number doesn't even cover the city's own footprint. Police presence and traffic enforcement associated with the wedding may have cost up to $10 million. Former New York City Traffic Commissioner Sam Schwartz told Forbes, noting the bill might fall on New York City taxpayers, but could be picked up by Kelce and Swift. One wedding planner put the number even higher once you factor in decor. You're not getting out alive for under $15 million to $25 million, estimates Alyssa Pettinato, founder of New York-based luxury wedding planning and event design firm Alanado Events. Another planner broke down just how the venue costs alone stacked up. Swift and Kelce will be paying a reported $1 million a night for the venue, and that includes at least 3 days. 1 day early for setup, the day of the event, and the day after to strike it all. So the venue alone is at $3 million. Given the money involved, it's no surprise the pair leaned on serious security. Donna Vive, CEO of the New York City security consulting firm Interfor International, believes security was a major factor in choosing the venue in the first place. The arena is capable of safely hosting crowds. It has no windows, no potential for drone flyovers, and secure entrances and exits. One planner compared it to something else entirely. Luxury planner Joanne Grigoli told the Wall Street Journal celebrity couples tend to choose venues as secure as anywhere a president would stay for their big events. And Aviv expects the wedding had Met Gala-level security. Every guest walked into the building, not knowing what was waiting. The guest list, which some reports say exceeded 1,000 names, all received watermarked, digital invites that came with NDAs, per Variety. One attendee who slipped past the paperwork gave fans their first real look inside. A since-deleted post from AMC's CEO, Adam Aron, gave a better idea of what actually went down inside MSG. He wrote that it did not look like Madison Square Garden at all, describing how immediately upon entry everything, floors, walls, ceiling, was draped in peach and white, with large blown-up pictures of Taylor and Travis at each age, year by year, from 1-year-old to late teenagerhood on display. Even the party favors got the treatment. The day after the ceremony, photos circulated online of an ivory handkerchief embroidered with lace. Handed out to wedding guests, the center of the cloth featured a stitched monogram of Swift and Kelce's first initials. Below that, the lyrics "So It's Gonna Be Forever" from Swift's 2014 hit Blank Space, and the date and location of the wedding. So by the time the reception wound down past midnight, this wasn't just a wedding anymore. It was a full production, one that had already spent tens of millions of dollars before the couple even packed a single suitcase for what came next. Once the vows were said and the guests had cleared out, attention immediately shifted to the next question everyone wanted answered. Where were Taylor and Travis actually going? And almost instantly, the reports started contradicting each other. The first version of the story suggested there wouldn't be a honeymoon at all, at least not right away. That's because Swift and Kelce, who were married on July 3, 2026 at Madison Square Garden, are heading to another wedding first. And there's not much time to sandwich a honeymoon in between. According to TMZ, the pair had somewhere else to be. Swift and Kelce will attend Giants wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster's wedding to Laura Crook on July 11 at the Ritz-Carlton, Laguna Niguel in Orange County, California. That timeline left almost no room to slip away. There's a week between Taylor and Travis's wedding and Juju's, but we're told the couple has no plans for a mini honeymoon before they head out to California. TMZ reported. The connection between the two athletes made the invite make sense in the first place. TMZ reported that the couple don't plan a mini honeymoon either before going to Smith-Schuster's wedding, which makes sense because Smith-Schuster and Kelce played together on the Chiefs. But even that report came with a built-in asterisk. Of course, it's always possible that such reports are a decoy to throw off the paparazzi while the pop star and Chiefs star jet off to a honeymoon. But that's far from clear at this point. In other words, even the outlets breaking the "no honeymoon yet" story admitted they couldn't be sure they weren't being played. Then a completely different version of events showed up. The Sun claimed the couple will spend time in Italy and Greece for their honeymoon, while the US Sun claimed they'll spend time in Lake Como, Italy, where actor George Clooney has a home, and in the Bahamas, which is a destination they enjoy. Two credible-sounding tabloids, two different countries added into the mix. And then came the version with the most detail of all, a full multi-stop world tour. In what the US Sun reported as a world tour of a honeymoon, the trip is set to begin in the Caribbean. Swift and Kelce will reportedly begin their honeymoon in the Bahamas, which is considered a favorite spot of theirs. From there, the itinerary kept expanding. After soaking in the sun in the Bahamas, a European trip is reportedly in the cards for the newlyweds. Per the US Sun, they will spend time on the Italian coast and at Lake Como, which is a region they are particularly fond of. That's just the start of the itinerary though, because the next stops on this reported route take the story somewhere nobody expected, tying directly into Travis's own family tree. If the Bahamas and Lake Como sound like the honeymoon stops you'd expect from a couple worth billions combined, what came next in the reports turned into something far more personal. Swift and Kelce will then reportedly head to Paris for a few days, then travel to the French Riviera and then to Croatia, where they are excited to explore the Croatian countryside to reconnect with Kelce's ancestral roots, per the US Sun. That detail about Croatia isn't just a random stop on a map. It traces back to something Travis's own brother stumbled into. Travis's brother Jason reportedly discovered recently that the family has Croatian roots on their mother's side, as Donna Kelce had Croat parents. So a stop that sounds like a tourist detour is reportedly something much closer to a homecoming for the Kelce side of this marriage. A source close to the couple framed it as a shared discovery for both of them, saying Taylor already loves that part of the world, having visited before, and that Travis is excited to take her there as part of this journey, tying his own heritage into a trip that started as beach vacations and wine country stops. And the scope of the whole trip, if the reporting holds up, is enormous. The lengthy worldwide honeymoon reported by the US Sun is expected to last 3 weeks, per the outlet, with the couple aiming to complete their trip throughout the month of July to ensure Kelce can show up on time for Chiefs training camp at the end of the month. 3 weeks. multiple continents. A hard deadline dictated by an NFL calendar that doesn't care how big your wedding was. Given how quickly the wedding celebrations wrapped up, the couple would need to move fast to pull off a trip like this. With their wedding celebrations reportedly being held on July 2 and 3 in New York City, Swift and Kelce will presumptively make a quick turnaround to begin their lavish vacation together. And once they leave, they're reportedly disappearing entirely. While they are away, reports indicate they will be off the grid. A source described just how deliberate that decision was. They have been planning this for weeks and have already informed friends and family that they will be off the grid during this time. A source told the U.S. Sun. The same source explained the reasoning behind cutting off contact almost entirely. Unless there is an emergency, they want to limit outside contact to truly immerse themselves in this once-in-a-lifetime experience before Travis returns to the football field. That kind of total disconnection is rare for two people who spent the better part of 3 years living their relationship in front of stadium cameras and paparazzi lenses. Every kiss, every game, every tour stop documented. Now, according to these reports, they wanted 3 weeks where none of that existed. No interviews, no appearances, no confirming or denying a single headline. Other insiders backed up just how tightly this trip was being guarded, arguably even more than the wedding itself. A source speaking to a Substack newsletter described the honeymoon security as locked down tighter than the ceremony, saying Taylor and Travis don't want anyone knowing where they'll be or when, and that they've told almost no one. Another insider added that every stop on the trip had been chosen specifically for luxury, privacy, and unforgettable experiences because they wanted the trip to belong to just the two of them. That single phrase, belonging to just the two of them, says a lot about where this story was heading next. Because everything up to this point, the $20 million wedding, the 1,000 guests, the McCartney performance, the Sandler officiating, all of it happened in full public view. The honeymoon was shaping up to be the first time in years that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got something that wasn't a public spectacle. While the Bahamas to Croatia route dominated most of the reporting, a separate thread of speculation zeroed in on something even more indulgent. A Greek island stretch that reads like a fantasy vacation brochure for two of the most photographed people on the planet. Insiders floated the idea that the couple had already done a trial run, months before the wedding, quietly scouting locations away from cameras. According to that reporting, the pair snuck away to Greece in May for what was described as a highly classified ultra-luxe dry run of their upcoming nuptials, scouting spots specifically to stay hidden from paparazzi. The islands attached to that speculation weren't random picks either. They each carried their own reputation among the ultra-wealthy. One name that came up repeatedly was Corfu, described as the kind of Ionian playground that's long attracted billionaires, European royalty, and Hollywood's elite, with the Rothschild family known for hosting summer retreats there, and stars like Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson favoring its coastline. Another was Patmos, a spot so guarded among the global elite that names like Tom Ford, Richard Gere, and Julia Roberts have reportedly sought refuge there to disappear from the noise entirely. Then there was Skopelos, the island that doubled as the backdrop for Mamma Mia, floated as a stop that would let Taylor lean into her love of a cinematic love story, right down to a private yacht charter to the Hilltop Chapel, where the film's own wedding scene was shot. And Milos rounded out the list, known for its otherworldly volcanic cliffs and the kind of stark white rock formations that look more like a fashion shoot set than a beach. Now, none of these Greek stops have been nailed down with the same level of sourcing as the Bahamas to Croatia route. They remain speculation layered on top of speculation. But what they reveal is just how much appetite there was across nearly every entertainment outlet covering this story to fill in the blanks of a honeymoon that the couple themselves had locked down tighter than their own wedding. And that secrecy wasn't incidental. It was, by every account, completely intentional. The same instinct that led them to book Madison Square Garden specifically, because it had no windows and no room for drone flyovers, is the same instinct reportedly steering the honeymoon. A source close to the situation put it plainly. Every location was chosen with privacy as the top priority, above luxury, above convenience, above anything else. That's a strange thing to sit with, given everything that led up to this moment. The relationship that made global headlines from a single friendship bracelet story at a Chiefs game. Swift and Kelce's relationship began to take shape in July 2023, when Kelce revealed on his New Heights podcast that he had tried to give Swift a friendship bracelet with his phone number after attending her Eras Tour stop at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, had turned 3 years later into a marriage so scrutinized that reporters were tracking license plates leaving the venue and counting how many times a live streamer said her name outside the building. Speaking of which, a streamer camped outside MSG with a mission to say Taylor Swift's name 100,000 times on her wedding day, and by early afternoon had already said her name more than 23,000 times, which tells you everything about the scale of public obsession this couple has been living under. A honeymoon completely off the grid isn't just a nice getaway for two newlyweds. For these two specifically, it's the first real silence they've had in years. That's also part of why the reports kept conflicting. When a couple builds an actual media blackout around a trip, outlets are left piecing together fragments, an insider here, a source familiar with the matter there. And none of those fragments necessarily agree with each other. That's exactly what played out with the Bahamas versus Greece versus World Tour reporting. Different sources, different guesses, all filling a vacuum the couple built on purpose. Whatever exact combination of beaches, coastlines, and countryside ends up being real, the honeymoon was never designed to be the final chapter. It's a pause before Travis heads straight back into an NFL season. The 3-week window reported by insiders wasn't chosen arbitrarily. It was built around the couple aiming to complete their trip throughout the month of July, to ensure Kelce can show up on time for Chiefs training camp at the end of the month. That detail alone tells you something about how this marriage is going to function moving forward. This isn't a couple stepping away from their careers to build a quiet life together. It's two of the most in-demand people on the planet, squeezing in the most private stretch of their relationship inside a football team's off-season schedule. Once training camp starts, the cameras come back regardless of what the couple wants. And even before the honeymoon wraps, life pulls them back into the spotlight anyway. That very first conflicting report, the one insisting there'd be no honeymoon before California, was tied to Kelce showing up for a teammate's wedding just over a week after his own. Whether or not that trip to Orange County ends up being a decoy, as some outlets speculated, it shows how little breathing room even a $20 million wedding buys two famous people. The donations made in the lead up to the wedding hint at where their heads were during all of this. In the days leading up to the wedding, Swift and Kelce donated $26 million to at least 20 charities. That's not a detail that made headlines the way the guest list or the McCartney performance did, but it's arguably the most telling number of the entire week, bigger than the wedding budget itself, given quietly, while the world was distracted by billboards and bridal gowns. As for the marriage itself, the people who were actually in the room kept circling back to the same word. Kelce's mother called the night magical. Stephanopoulos called the vows deeply loving. Swift's aunt, briefly speaking to a British radio outlet outside the venue, said simply that they cried and they laughed and they danced. None of those descriptions require a 3-week trip to Croatia or a private Greek island to be true. They were true the moment the marquee outside Madison Square Garden lit up. So where does that leave the honeymoon question? Somewhere between the Bahamas, Lake Como, Paris, the French Riviera, a Croatian countryside tied to Travis's own bloodline, and maybe a Greek island or two thrown in for good measure. The exact stops may shift as more sources leak fragments over the coming weeks, but the shape of it, a sprawling, multi-country, off-the-grid escape squeezed into 3 weeks before football season swallows Travis whole again, is about as close to confirmed as a couple this famous is ever going to allow. And given everything they pulled off just to get married without a single leaked photo, it's safe to say whatever this honeymoon actually looked like, the world may not find out the full story for